All right, guys, before I bring on Enzo Orlando, you are listening to Brandon's Word at the bottom of the hour. I got something to tell you guys. So, next weekend, save the date because Bug Squirrel Radio is having a tattoo fundraiser at Defiance Tattoos in downtown Canton. Wow, I really messed that up. On April 26th, a portion of your tattoo cost will support college radio. This fundraiser will feature numerous PSR-related tattoo designs and special fundraising pitching. The official design options and prices will be announced soon. Save today by following Buckscore Radio on Facebook, and we'll see you next Saturday, April 26th. Again, I just want to make a quick programming note for us. Next Saturday, my best friend Andrew Becca, the host of the Andrew Becca podcast, will be here in studio the full 2 hours. We're going to break down the NFL draft and all things sports, so look forward to that. But right now, I am the host of the Pass the Mic, Enzo Orlando. Enzo, what's up, buddy?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I woke up feeling, I don't know, what's that word Baker Mayfield
dangerous? You woke up feeling dangerous?
I would say dangerous, but I woke up in a good mood. I woke up in a mood of, you know what? I'm going to talk sports today. I'm going to bash some people. I'm going to make opinions, and whatever you guys say on Twitter, you guys can say it. So, that being said, we were talking off the air, and we said, let's start with the Masters.
Well, let's definitely start with the Masters because this was probably the biggest Masters in a while. It's probably the most exciting Masters we've seen in years, me being a big golf person as well, not just, those people that literally just show up when Tiger shows up, which apparently that happened out with Tiger winning, but Tiger winning is such a big effect on the game of golf as well. He gets people to watch it. He gets people to go out on the course and play. I mean, yeah, you're going to get these people that go on the course. They have all this Tiger Woods swag. They got his clubs. They got the red shirt. They got his Nike hat. They have all that, and they end up, shooting a 120 on an 18-hole course. Not my fault, but hey, it's good for golf. It's going to get people to watch the PGA Championship in May as well, since Tiger is favored to win that one. So that's pretty good for golf, to put it that way. It's just Tiger just has something in him that gets people to watch golf. Because what were you doing last Sunday in sports? Were you watching the NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs, or were you paying attention more to the Masters?
Funny thing, I actually wasn't watching anything.
You weren't watching that? That's surprising.
I was working all day. I was at I was at my place, but I was working on stories of the stadium and other stuff till 5. So by the time I got done with stuff, and then we had that big tornado that hit and all the power went out. By the time I got food and stuff, the Masters was already over. So I missed the whole thing.
Yeah, it happened early in the morning. They had to push it back early because there was some bad weather coming towards Augusta. So they pushed it back early. I had to be up early then. I didn't go out Saturday night.
Now, as somebody, I'm a big putter, okay? I'm not a big golf fan. I like going out and doing the mini putt.
Putt's good. It's good practice for your putting. That's what I do for my practice. I don't know if my co-host Michael really agrees with me that using that to practice my putting. When I practice chipping, I just do it in my backyard. That's the best way to practice your short game. My putting, usually, take a date on a putt. Girls like that.
No, absolutely. And Tiger Woods, I mean, this is one of the most incredible stories in our lifetime, easily ever.
Oh, this is one of the best comebacks in sports.
This guy, literally 2 years ago, I thought we were never going to see again. I thought he was going to be some kind of drug addict. I mean,
he had a DUI 2 years ago. Then back in 2009,
I remember when it happened.
Yeah, me too.
Because people were criticizing him and acting like the guy's life is over, and now 2 years later, here we are, and everybody's rooting for Tiger. And I just find it funny because, again, 2 years ago, everybody, Tiger, this is what Tiger deserves for cheating on his wife or whatever. And now that he's back in golf, people are celebrating. I just think it's funny, man, what sports brings. The narrative sports brings, it changes people.
It does change his people, especially with this Masters so far, because going into the final round at the Masters, Tiger, he was tied for third, and Francesco Molinari, a great golfer, he was leading the whole way. He was leading the first 9. He did pretty good, and then on the first 2 holes on the back 9, he did pretty good. I think he parred both, and then on hole 12. It was a par 3, and there's there's a river right there. And then there's that one of the Hogan Bridge right there where you walk over to go to the green. Molinari hits the ball, and that one goes right in the water. And a couple guys did that earlier. I think Brooks Koepka did that, and then the other guy they were with, Tony Finau, did that as well. So this gave Tiger a chance to put himself up into the leaderboards. I think after that, I think it was like anyone's game at that point. And then I think Molinari, he screwed up on hole 15 by going in the water again. So this put Tiger in the advantage. So on like the last 4 holes, people were really pushing Tiger to win. I mean, on hole 16, he almost had a hole-in-one. It was a beautiful drive he had right there on that par 3, because on hole 16 at the Masters, he was known for that famous chip he did where that ball rolls.
Right.
It's on the edge. It was in like a Nike commercial, and people were just on their feet, and it goes in. That's basically how that moment was on 16. Birdied that one. He parred 17, and then on 18, man, all he needed was basically a bogey to win, because he was 14 under. No, he was 15 under, and then he went down the 14 under because he bogeyed that hole, missed the par shot. But it was just so great just seeing the crowd at Augusta like literally roar at, like probably the loudest that crowd's ever been there. Like for golf, you don't get a lot of roaring sports fans like you do at football, baseball, and basketball and hockey. They're not like that. Golf's more that classy sport. The gentleman's game is what it's known as. But those golfers were congratulating Tiger, like Phil Mickelson as well, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Bubba Watson. They were all congratulating him. They were like very happy that Tiger won, even though they did not win. So it was just great to show how golf really appreciated how much this win for Tiger meant for him. Even Jack Nicklaus, the great Jack Nicklaus, he congratulated him on Twitter. So that was also pretty cool as well. So this was just pretty much big for golf. And, PGA ratings for like even just, a tournament round will probably go up a little bit. PGA Championship ratings, that will go up. The U.S. Open ratings will be up. Same thing with the Open Championship. And then the FedEx Cup, the Players Championship. Those ratings will be up. You're going to get people to watch golf. And they'll just only watch Tiger, but hey, it's good for the game.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that if it wasn't for what happened this weekend, we wouldn't be talking about it right now. The only reason why we're talking about it is because one specific person won and because of the circumstances.
That is true, Brandon. Just Tiger just has that effect on the game of golf. Kind of like how Michael Jordan did with basketball. Yeah. Got people to watch it. His greatness is just so much appreciated. What he was doing in his early career by winning all those championships and tournaments. And then, he went through that struggle period. I mean, Jordan kind of did go through that struggle period when he played baseball. Yeah. But then he came back and, he won 3 more championships. Tiger's kind of doing that right now. Hopefully he can win the PGA.
It's similar, but Tiger's situation was a lot worse, which makes this better. Let's shift, because I know also you wanted to talk about the NHL playoffs. Now, I'm not the biggest NHL fan, but I think you wanted to mention something on it.
I'm not the biggest NHL fan either, but when it comes to playoff time, the NHL playoffs top all of them. They're up there with I think the NHL's number 1. I would have to put the NFL number 2, then Major League Baseball. And with how the NBA is currently, they would be number 4 out of the 4 major sports. I'm not including the college sports as well, but NHL playoffs have been exciting. The only NHL team in Ohio, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they made history Tuesday night. They swept the Tampa Bay Lightning, who were the number 1 seed in the NHL, and they also won the President's Cup trophy, and that's the team that usually winds up with the most points in hockey. Because hockey goes by points, by your players, and how many games you win. And Tampa won that, and a lot of NHL analysts were predicting, Tampa's going to sweep the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets had no chance. They literally snuck into the playoffs, the Jackets. You know what they ended up doing? They ended up sweeping this team. First time ever in NHL history this happened where the President's Cup trophy winner gets swept in the playoffs. It never happened. It was big history for Columbus Blue Jackets. It was the first time they ever made it past the first round of the playoffs. They're moving on to the second round. They'll either play the Toronto Maple Leafs or the Boston Bruins, and they played last night. That was a very intense game as well, as no goals were scored in the first 2 periods, but then with like less than 8 minutes, scored 2 goals, and now they're up 3-2 in that series. They play tomorrow. If Toronto wins, they'll move on to face the Blue Jackets in the semifinals in the NHL playoffs.
Who would you pick to win that series?
That series, as I'm kind of like those, people who was like Ohio for Ohio, since, we don't have an NHL team in Cleveland. You got to support your Blue Jackets. As much as I want to see the Blue Jackets make history, I might have to take Toronto because of their players they got. I mean, John Tavares, who they got in the offseason from the Islanders, he's been a big player that's been helping the young Austin Matthews as well. I mean, I would have to take Toronto, but I would love to see the Blue Jackets make it to the conference finals for the first time. And, hey, they have a chance to get to the Stanley Cup.
And, I mean, it's kind of like in baseball. Once you're in that dance, you're in the dance, and anything can happen. All right. So, we were talking off air, and we disagree about this. I've been talking about this guy for the last 2 weeks. Number 0 for the Oklahoma City Thunder, Russell Westbrook. You say you love his game. I personally hate the way he plays the game, and I know it's a strong word. I really do. I really don't like the guy. I think the NBA players voted him the most overrated player in the NBA, and I completely agree with them. So go ahead and just give your spiel to me on the great Russell Westbrook.
I don't think he is overrated. I mean, you look at his stats, he averaged a triple-double for 3 straight seasons. Well, I don't think Wilt Chamberlain did that. I don't think Wilt averaged 3 straight seasons of a triple-double. Russell Westbrook was doing that. The first year after Kevin Durant left, it was basically just Russ teams. He had to do it all. He literally hustled through the whole season and also the first round of the playoffs. Then last year, he still played great, but I think the reason why the Thunder were not that good last year had because of Carmelo Anthony's play. As we see, Melo's no longer on a team. He hasn't played that well recently. He's not even on a team right now, so that probably hurt the Thunder right now with Paul George. Those two seem to mix together, but it seems like it's just those two, and with them being down the series against Portland, they need to pull it together right now. I mean, Russ did pull it together last night. He played pretty great. I didn't even get the chance to watch the game, but I heard he played excellent as usual, as him and Damian Lillard are going back and forth with some, beef, I would kind of want to say, just trash talk. That's what I love about his game. His trash talking is pretty good. I know people get mad with him and he's calling out a fan or something, but fans, we need to take a break, especially in NBA games, because the NBA, if you're sitting in the floor or lower seats, you're pretty close to the players, and what you say, they can hear it, and they're not afraid to talk back to you. So, especially in that Utah thing that happened, you just shouldn't do stuff like that. I mean, I just love his attitude when it comes to the game. That aggressive attitude, drive to the hoop, get that pass, get that rebound. I mean, he basically just plays the game like he's one of the Monstars.
He needs to do that less, and I would argue the success would be better. When you look at Russ last night, okay, last night he shot 50% from the field. I will take that. If he does that, Oklahoma City can win games. He didn't have a triple-double. He only had 5 rebounds. That's my point. The triple-double is so overrated, especially on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, when he gets a triple-double, blah, 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 blah. But actually, when their team plays a lot better? When Russ doesn't shoot 50 shots a game, when he defers to Paul George, when he doesn't get the 20-20-20, when Russ gets 28 and 12, that's when they're at their best. When Russ gets 38, 15, and 15 on 40 shots, they don't win games. So I don't care about, I'm a production guy, okay? I don't care about if a guy averages 50, 50, 50 in a season and gets beat in the first round. That to me is more about, he wore himself out. And that's what Russ has done the last couple of years, ever since KD's left. He's wore himself out. I already think he's going to wear himself out in this series. I think Portland takes it in 6. To be honest, I'm just going to throw it out here, and I'm just going to say it. I am rooting try hard for Oklahoma City to lose this series. I want to come in here next week and I want to bash that man as much as possible because I just don't like the guy.
You just don't like him as a player or just in general as a person, or both?
I think he needs to grow up a little bit. I don't like the trash talking with fans. Fans, yes, you're close to him. Yeah, sure, you can say whatever, but why are you making it a point? It's like he's bothered. It's different than Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant sneaks into people's DMs and tells kids to go clean their room.
I mean, they're both.
I mean, why do you need to do that though? Why? You are a grown man. Look at Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is 19 years old.
He's like our age, yeah.
He's a professional already, and he knows how to deal with the media. He knows how to deal with this stuff. You got guys like Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, and all these guys. They're not grown-ups. They're like childs. And at the end of the day, Kevin Durant has a lot more talent than Russell Westbrook, and those two childs couldn't get along. And Paul George and Russell Westbrook get along because they choke together. They get eliminated together. They get comfort of each other because they want to try to rise above that together. And at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to.
I mean, you're totally right on how, ironically, Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook can be childish in a different way. Russell Westbrook tends to be more childish when you're seeing him on the court. Kevin Durant does it on Twitter as he's like bashing 13, 14-year-olds on Twitter with burner accounts, which that's probably the most childish thing you can do as one of the second best NBA players in the league.
Let me ask, what's more childish? Yelling at a fan and telling them you're going to beat their you-know-what? Or sliding into some 13-year-old DMs and telling them to go clean your room?
I think you're sliding into DMs of like high schoolers. That's pretty childish. And you're talking people half your age, and you just want to chirp them because they said something about you, and that just looks bad on you, especially as the second best player in the NBA on the best basketball team in the NBA, the Golden State Warriors. No doubt about it. The Clippers seem to be done, I think. Hopefully they get together. Hopefully DeMarcus Cousins comes back in the Western Conference Finals for the Warriors, and I think that then, the NBA's over there.
Here's been my huge point on Golden State. Nobody's talked about this. If Boogie is out for the playoffs, nobody has even thought about the possibility of, well, could he come back to Golden State on a 1-year another prove-it deal? Nobody has discussed it because, here's the thing. Nobody's discussed it. If he's hurt again, is anybody going to take a chance on him? Nobody took a chance on him last year. So he could come back to Golden State. This is the worst thing that could happen for the NBA is him getting hurt. It's the worst thing that happened in this entire playoff so far. If he is not back, do you really think a team is going to give him a max contract?
Oh, I don't think the Warriors would re-sign him if he's hurt for the whole playoffs.
Oh,
I know what team. I know what team.
Golden State would.
They would.
Golden State would. I'm telling you right now, and I think it would even.
But I have a feeling Kevin Durant might be leaving, so that's why they could be wanting to sign Boogie.
Well, I do too, but I don't think it's a for sure thing. Everybody's saying KD's going to New York. I don't think we know yet.
We don't know for sure. We'll have to see how the draft, the lottery, the NBA lottery, we got to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I don't know if you already know my take on the lottery. I think it's completely rigged for the Knicks. I think the Knicks already have the pick in the bag.
So this is like Patrick Ewing back in the
I'm
80s.
I'm not even thinking about the Cavs getting Zion Williamson. I'm more I like
John Morant. I think if the Cavs get number 2 or 3, I would take John Morant.
I don't think RJ Barrett's going to be. I think he'll be an okay pro. I think John Morant's going to be better than him.
John Morant's going to be like a Dwayne Wade type player.
Oh yeah, I used to think RJ Barrett was like until I watched RJ in the tournament. I'm like, this guy's not that good. And,
yeah, RJ, I don't think he's like a player you can really build around.
No.
And that's what the Cavs want. They want a player they can build around someone. Colin Sexton, he's a great point guard, but I don't think you can really build around him.
And here's the thing. This was my point about Kyrie, too. When Kyrie left for Boston, you can't build around Kyrie either.
No.
There are only a couple players in the NBA you can build around. I think there's 4. Kawhi, Steph, Durant, LeBron. I think that's the only 4 you can build around. Russ is arguable, but we've seen it. James Harden is arguable, but we've seen they haven't won with James Harden. We've seen they've won with Steph. We've seen Toronto with Kawhi now. We've seen LeBron and we've seen KD. I think those are the only 4 superstars you can build a team around.
Oh, that's absolutely true. You can only build around those 4 players, I think. I mean, Russ, he just tends to just do more stuff for the stats. Kyrie, he's like one of the point guards you really can't build around. Steph's game, it's easy to build around because his is mostly pass and shoot and then maybe drive here and there. So that's why I think Steph Curry was a little bit easier to build around for the Warriors compared to other point guards in the league. Like I don't even think you could really build around Chris Paul though either.
No, you can't, and you can't build around Damian Lillard. You can't build around Anthony Davis. Like these superstars, they're all like number 2s. I call them complimentary stars. I've said this for years. I think there's only 3 or 4 stars in the NBA that are true superstars. And by the way, LeBron's now starting to get knocked down to tier 2. We're starting to, and. People are forgetting. They're like, oh, if KD goes to New York, he's not going to win a championship.
Oh.
If KD goes to New York, he's not going alone. Kyrie's going with him. And they're going to have Zion. The Knicks are going to win the East next year if KD goes to New York.
Oh,
I guarantee it.
That's so true. I would love to see that for the Knicks franchise as well because they've been so bad this decade.
They deserve it.
They deserve it. New York's got they have a passionate NBA fan base. with the Knicks organization more than they do with the Nets.
No, I mean, they deserve to lose. They don't deserve the championship.
They don't?
No. Their fans have been terrible. They don't show up.
The New Yorkers, what do you expect? And New York's expectation for all their teams is if you don't win a championship, it's over. Like how they are with the Yankees. You see with the Yankees. They think if the Yankees don't win the World Series, they don't
deserve it. And that's why they don't deserve it.
I mean, it's just New York is so special, especially Madison Square Garden, one of the most famous arenas.
To me, it's not as special anymore. It hasn't been special since I've grown up. I don't really think of Madison Square Garden as that special. I think of the Staples Center, the TD Garden. I even think of the Q as somewhat special now.
I think with Oracle not being around, that was a pretty special. A lot of great events happened before the Super Team Warriors. You had the We Believe team with Baron Davis, Vince Carter's famous slam dunk, and then the early on when they were the San Francisco Warriors. Yeah. There were some great teams there, but now this is like their last season in Oracle, and they're moving across the bay to San Francisco, where I heard not too many people in the San Francisco area of the Bay Area really care much about the Warriors than they do in Oakland, because in 2015 I went to San Francisco and I was wearing Cavs gear. I was afraid, like, if I go to Pittsburgh wearing Browns gear, people will talk crap to me. If I go to, like, New York, Boston, if I'm wearing something that says Cleveland, locals will talk crap to me. I went to San Francisco. No one really questioned me after the Warriors beat the Cavs in the finals in 2015. I'm like, all right, this is really strange. They're really not going at me.
But they're all bandwagoners.
That's what the West Coast too. They're not as passionate as sports when it comes to like the East Coast and the Midwest. They're more bandwagoners. So you see those Warrior fans right now, they were Laker fans in the 2000s when Kobe and Shaq were taking over. Yep. Now they're Warrior fans, and I don't think there's going to be any bandwagon Laker fans that looking at how this organization is doing everything. That's a mess down there in the Staples Centers with the Lakers.
Hey guys, this is Brandon Lewis from Brandon's World here. Make sure you leave a like and comment right down below. And make sure you check out the show every Saturday from 10 to noon on BuckstoreRadio.com, the TuneIn app, or right here on the YouTube channel. Thanks, and you guys already know. See ya! It's out of here. It's Brandon's World.